I'm going to call our meeting to order. This is our regular Board of Supervisor meeting for April 28th, 2026. And we're going to start with a moment of silence from Supervisor Sabatier.
So I'm not quite sure what to say, but obviously something occurred over the weekend where we all have heard of the news of political violence. It's unfortunate that we have what we are seeing throughout our country and in our communities, where I'm looking at a room here where I know not everybody voted the exact same way, but you're here for one reason: to see your community do better. And it really shouldn't matter so much how you vote or who you vote for or your ideology, so much more than you're active and engaged to doing something to make things better, no matter where you are. And I feel like we need to go back to the basics. It's cliche, but love your neighbor, be kind to one another, give more than you take, and just look out for the ones less fortunate than you. Shouldn't be that difficult, but here we are again, and it seems to be rising, not decreasing. So hopefully in today's moment of silence, we can think of what it means to be a community and what each one of us individually is doing to make our communities stronger and better and not divided and not falling apart. So I apologize for kind of putting a challenge there in your moment of silence, but I think that we need to figure out ways individually, because we can't wait for someone else to resolve these problems. And we need to think on it, we need to pray on it, we need to act on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Crandall, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yes. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any extra items that aren't on the agenda?
No, Chair, we do not.
Thank you.
I want to wait for the OI until they show up.
They're here.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to move on to the approval of the consent agenda. And I have word that 5.4 and 5.11 need to be pulled from consent. Do any supervisors have anything else that needs to be pulled other than 5.4 and 5.11? No, not hearing anybody in the public that wishes that we pull any consent agenda items for discussion later. Hillary, are you requesting a consent agenda item be pulled?
No, sorry.
Okay. All right. David, are you requesting a consent agenda item to be pulled?
No, I'm waiting to speak about the rent control ordinance.
Okay, we'll get to public comment in a few minutes here. All right. Not seeing anything else. I'd be ready for proposed action on the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 5.14, was it?
5.4.
5.4 and 5.11, thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 4-1. We're going to move on to our timed items, and we're going to start with public input. Could I see a show of hands in the room of who wants to give public input today on items not appearing on the agenda? Okay, thank you. What about online, Johanna? 2? Okay, 3, 4. Okay, we'll go ahead and start online today. The first one. Hillary Musher, if you could state your name, you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Hillary Mosier. I'm the regional manager in your zone for the Golden State Manufactured Homeowners League. I would first like to commend you on the work being done by the RSO Ad Hoc Committee. From what I've heard, there are some very progressive and protective regulations being put into place for a comprehensive RSO. However, the process leading to the enactment of such an ordinance seems to be taking quite a long time, logging in hours, month after month. And while we do not advise rushing any decisions on something this important, we do strongly suggest that you take every precaution possible to protect your constituents living in mobile home parks from predatory park owners' greedy overcharges. You must realize that these park owners are taking advantage of your current lack of action by imposing increased rents and fees in the interim. For instance, you know that Caritas, the owner of Sterling Shores, imposed a $60 monthly pass-through increase for the next 10 years that began 2 months ago. This pass-through is to cover operating and maintenance expenses from the past several years. It's a retroactive charge. The park owner has already paid these expenses out of previous rent revenue, as well they should. This bogus charge is like your grocer coming after you when you enter the grocery store and telling you that you can't shop there if you don't pay for the past 5 years of costs for cleaning and maintaining the store. And let's talk for a moment about Caritas. Their nonprofit status is predicated upon a mission statement that claims they are dedicated to delivering affordable housing to low-income folks. This is patently false. Their rents have been steadily increasing at an alarming rate, or I wouldn't be here right now, and you would not have an ad hoc committee. I believe that this council should file a challenge to their nonprofit status with the State Attorney General's California Office of Charitable Organizations, as I have done. But getting back to the ad hoc committee, they should be able to take their time to craft an airtight RSO that will protect your constituents for decades to come. But if the affordable housing stock they seek to preserve is being eroded in the meantime, it is imperative that action is taken by the council to stop this erosion now. The only way that I know how to do this, and remember, I'm the only person that works throughout the state on this issue, is to enact a temporary fee increase moratorium, retroactive to January, that will roll back almost $200 for folks at Caritas and allow a sigh of relief for folks at the parks owned by Harmony. If you fail to take action, you will have sabotaged your own efforts and be left with significantly less affordable housing than the state mandates. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Next. David, if you could state your name for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is David Berry, and I'm a volunteer associate manager for the Golden State Manufactured Homeowners League. And although I live in a mobile home park down here in Rohnert Park, I'm calling in today because Lake County is part of the region I'm assigned to help. And I've been working with Hillary Moser to develop a strategy to convince those of you on the board to take immediate steps to protect park residents from existing predatory increases. Now, this could be done by any one of you placing the issue on the agenda and then voting to enact a temporary fee increase moratorium retroactive to January. Well, I'm very fortunate. I live in a city with an RSO that limits the annual rent cap to 4%. But for those of you living in mobile home parks in Lake County, there's no such luck. You've already seen at least 2 multi-million-dollar corporate park owners react to the formation of your RSO ad hoc committee by imposing large fee increases. And while you are to be congratulated for finally taking up this important issue, you need to mitigate these unintended consequences immediately. Otherwise, by the time you finally enact the RSO, you will have failed to protect this important source of affordable housing from becoming unaffordable. Other municipalities have successfully imposed such moratoriums, and so can Lake County. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next. Stephanie? Stephanie, you'll have 3 minutes. State your name for the record, please.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Paceno. I'm calling in again about the Robin Lane sewage spill. I'm a licensed child care provider and a co-owner of Sunnyside Daycare here in Clear Lake. I'm calling in today because many of us in the community feel emotionally exhausted from hearing promises, reassurances, and statements about help and change while still continuing to live with uncertainty every single day. Since the sewage spill happened on Robin Lane, families have been told to trust the process, be patient, and wait for answers. We're being told things were being handled and that support would be available. But for many of us residents, it has felt like hope is repeatedly being offered without real long-term solutions following behind it. We keep hearing words like progress, moving forward, and working on it, but families are still struggling physically, emotionally, and financially. Residents continue reporting concerns about discoloration, smells, and changes in their water that were not there before. Many of us no longer feel peace or comfort in our homes. As someone who runs a daycare out of my home, this situation affects every part of our life. My home is not just where my family sleeps at night. It's also our workplace, our livelihood, and a place where parents trust me to care for their children safely. Imagine trying to reassure families and protect children while also questioning whether your own home environment is truly safe. One of the hardest parts through all this has been the emotional roller coaster. Families are given hope that support is coming, then changes happen, requirements change, or assistance becomes harder to receive. Water deliveries have stopped. Many families were left feeling abandoned during one of the most stressful situations they've ever faced. We understand these situations are complicated. We understand repairs and recovery take time, but we're asking for honesty, consistency, and follow through. Please do not give families reassurance just to calm public concern if people are still living with uncertainty behind closed doors. We understand this situation may not be something that benefits the county financially or publicly, but that should not change the urgency or level of care given to the families affected. Even when there's no benefit in doing it, doing what is right for residents should still come first. People in this community are tired. We are tired of feeling dismissed. We are tired of repeating ourselves just to feel heard. We are tired of wondering whether decisions are truly being made with residents' health and safety coming first. Yet we continue to come here, continue to speak, continue to advocate because this matters. Our homes matters, our children's matter, our businesses matter, our peace of mind matters. We are not asking for special treatment. We're asking for accountability, real solutions that we can trust. We need action that restores confidence, not statements that temporarily create hope while families continue living in fear and uncertainty. Please remember that
You'll have to wrap up, Stephanie. That was 3 minutes.
I'm almost done. Please remember that behind every report, every meeting agenda, every update, are real families trying to hold their lives together. Thank you.
Thank you. Next online. iPhone 14, please state your name for the record and you'll have 3 minutes. It's frozen. Should I move to the room and come back? I'm going to move to the room. We'll come back to you, iPhone 14. First person in the room that wanted to speak, please come forward.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. I'm speaking for Save Our Shelter. We ask you to put on your agenda for next week an immediate moratorium on mobile home park fees of any kind until you complete the RSO. Lake County is ranked in the bottom 10% of the lowest income in the counties in California, as you know, and we're getting hit pretty hard. In the North Bay, the following cities and counties already have rent control for mobile homes: Ukiah, Santa Rosa, Windsor, Sonoma County, Novato, San Rafael, Calistoga, Cloverdale, and Roanoke Park. In the South Bay, San Jose, Santa Cruz, Scotts Valley, Daly City, Los Gatos, East Palo Alto, and Pacifica. In the East Bay, Alameda County, Hayward, Pleasanton, Fremont, Vallejo, Napa, and Benicia. We'd like to be on the list. We'd like for you to be active and to take care of your people as these other people have managed to do in their counties. A lady moved into our park last week. I spoke to her. She described this as her final chapter, and where she chose to live. Our golden years have turned into a cycle of financial fear. For many of us, living in a senior mobile home park was supposed to be a last refuge, a place where we could own our homes, live among peers, and manage our fixed incomes with dignity. But today we're witnessing an assault of that dream by corporations. Across the country, corporate speculators are buying up our parks, not to provide our communities with peace, but to line their pockets. We know we're a captive audience. We own the walls of the homes, but not the dirt. They know we can't spend $10,000 and pack up and move. That leaves us at the mercy of their ledger. The weapons being used against us are subtle but devastating, as we've told you many times. Skyrocketing lot rents, double-digit increases that outpace Social Security cost of living, predatory pass-through fees, management constantly shifting their small little business costs to us to pay for their business administrative practices using rounding up schemes, passing on pass-through fees that have already happened for capital expenses that we've already paid for. Some parks are spiking, which ours have done, water and electric bills. When these fees rise, our security in our homes vanishes. A senior who's lived in the same spot for 30 years shouldn't be forced to choose between groceries and the ground for the home that they rent. I believe that they're waiting for everybody to die and to move on. And then as these expenses are already put in place, the new people just accept them. We've already had 3 signs go up in our homes. As you know, Alice passed away, people pass away, people have to decide to go into assisted living. And if we remain static, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. And we ask that you put this on your agenda. We need an emergency moratorium from retroactive 2026 to please put that on your agenda for next week. Just hold off while you do your work, but protect us so we don't have to keep paying their expenses. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hesitate to follow that, but good morning. My name's Tom Flanagan. I live in Sterling Shores. I understand that you want to be deliberate in your actions and you don't want to stray on the side of people like us that need help versus people that own parks and have businesses in the county, pay taxes to the county. But you know what our needs are. As far as them, they pay you taxes on the property, and then if they live in the county, income taxes, but I suspect virtually none of them live in the county, so you're getting no taxes there. It's just leaving the county. David mentioned that his ordinance caps at 4%. We have been living for 2 months with a 12% increase. So, and no end in sight. They could do another pass-through tomorrow. We have no way of stopping it. You're the only ones that have that power. We're going to try to compile a list of all of these various jurisdictions that have RSOs, what they have, what their caps are, whether they're retroactive, whether they cover time of sale increases, things like that, so that you'll be able to see what you can do, what you have the power to do, what other people have done, and not have to reinvent the wheel yourselves. Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you. Next in the room, did we have anyone else in the room? Come on.
Hey, good morning, supervisors and community of Lake County. I just want to announce that the members of the I'm Thomas Aceves, chairman for the Western Region Town Hall, and I wanted to announce that we're doing the Municipal Advisory Council's Central Region Town Hall, which covers Lucerne, Eastern Region Town Hall, which covers Oaks, Spring Valley, and beyond, and the Western Region Town Hall, which covers Nice, Upper Lake, Blue Lakes, and beyond. We want to invite everybody to the First District 3 Municipal Advisory Council Alliance Community Meeting, which advises Supervisor Crandall. We're very excited about this. Join Supervisor Crandall and the Municipal Advisory Councils in District 3 to hear updates about issues that impact us all and how we plan to tackle them together. We're meeting tomorrow night at 5:30 at the Lucerne Alpine Senior Center, April 29th, tomorrow. And it's going to be exciting. Speakers include Shannon Banks, North Shore Fire, Luke Bingham, Lake County Sheriff, Lars Ewing, Public Works Director, Joey Valdez, Code Enforcement. Topics include Caltrans, Clear Lake Rehabilitation Projects, Parks and Recreation, Public Safety, Code Enforcement, and District 3 Community Survey. And we found these municipal advisory councils that have been ongoing for the past almost 10 years to be an help advise Supervisor Crandall in our communities. And we invite everybody to come to this alliance. The first one in the Lake County. And we're very excited. The group's been working very hard on this. And Supervisor Crandall, with his cooperation and community efforts, we think it's a great thing. Come out to the community tomorrow night again, April 29th, 5:30 p.m. at the Lucerne Alpine Senior Center. And that's going to be at 3985 Country Club Drive in Lucerne. And everybody's welcome in the North Shore. We want everybody to come out and learn about the region town hall or the municipal advisory councils and how they affect our community, how they improve our community, how they help advise Supervisor Crandall on his agenda, and also celebrating the great things that are going on with our community. So we're very excited about this, and we invite everybody beyond that if they like to come over and see. First one in county, and we're very excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thomas.
Good morning, Chair, Tom Lasik, members of the board. Yeah, I'm the third Thomas to come up here today. Before I begin, I provide you a copy of the Public Records Act, PRA 2657. It's related to the parcels near Lamson Field that my wife, Margot, had submitted back in February. We'll get to that in a second. What I want to address is really the issue that goes to the integrity of the board's decision-making process. Over the past several hearings, we've seen responses from staff that appear to be responsive on the surface to questions from the board, but in substance actually don't address the questions being asked or the issues at hand. And this is not an isolated situation. It's an ongoing pattern that we've seen for quite some time. But because I only have 3 minutes, I'm only going to go through a few examples. The first one I want to bring up is one that happened a few months ago where Supervisor Owen asked how much fines came from permitted cannabis grows, and the response from the CDD director was that it was over $500,000. That was misleading and evasive because that wasn't the fines for cannabis. That was the overall number. We still don't know what that number is, and Supervisor Owen's question still remains unanswered. Second, with respect to the parcels at Lamson Field, as you know, CDD said it was a mistake and that the rezoning was approved in 2008, so that's why we opened up that PRA request. And as the request in front of you shows, it specifically seeks evidence supporting that claim, and while we received a plethora of information, not one of those documents actually show that the board approved those parcels for rezoning. And then when we brought that up 2 weeks ago, the response from CDD was that documents had been provided as part of that PR request. And that's true, documents were provided, but again, it was a what's called a non-responsive request. It didn't address what was going on. It was a deflection. Because it's not an issue of whether documents were produced, it's whether any of the documents shows board approval. And fourth, last week, when we raised it again, after public comment closed, the Director Turner said that, well, it was too vague and that's why we didn't give it. But as you can see in front of you, it's actually very specific. It wants the information that CDD had claimed existed and it never provided it. And taken together, this is not simply imprecision. It reflects a pattern of scope shifting, non-responsive answers, and misdirection. So respectfully, that rises to a level that can only be described as manipulation of the record. And I would also note that the board routinely holds the public to a high standard of evidence and documentation, and that standard should apply to anybody taking representations from staff at face value without record support. It just has to stop. You can't say that you're for accountability and transparency, but yet tolerate this practice of deflection and obscurity. And I'm out of time, but thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. Did we have anyone else in the room?
Good morning, Brett.
Morning.
Supervisors, Justin Brader. Very brief comment on the mobile home issue. I live in Fairground Village, adjacent to the Fairgrounds baseball field, and we have a wonderful community. It's well managed. But in the past 3 years, the rent is just up and up and up, unlike the 7 before that I lived there. And we're not all low-income seniors in these places, but mostly. And if you're familiar with Social Security, you know, a low-income earner has a Social Security sometimes of 10, 11, 1,200. Our rents are now 800. They include water and sewer, but it's now up to 800 a month. And that leaves 400 for electric, propane, garbage, your insurance, you know, eating, you know. And I've known 2 parties in our 56-unit park who were, one already has, and the other one, who were going to those places across from the sheriff's because they're a flat third of your income. So they're now paying 400 if they go there, as opposed to and half is saved. So I just think it's really frightening when older seniors are being forced to leave a mobile home park, which traditionally is, you know, not exactly something people leave from. It's already, you know, the most affordable option. But that's for the first time. And those murmurs are going throughout our park about people leaving either to loved ones or to the public housing because of the rising costs. So thank you.
Thank you. Was that in the room? I believe so. Do we go back to iPhone 14? Are they unmuted? iPhone 14, you're unmuted. If you could state your name for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
Sky Lewa, Pillsbury Family Farms. This is a business between a licensed operator and the County of Lake. When the county takes action on behalf of a business without their knowledge, using public programs and public funds, that is the definition of government conduct and not a personal dispute. Let's walk through the facts. The Cannabis Equity Grant was designed to support operators, to create sustainability, not confusion. Your current attorney tax collector, who previously worked in admin, was involved in that program before stepping into his elected role. On September 29, 2022, $50,000 was accepted on our farm's behalf by the County of Lake. That money was applied directly to our 2022 tax bill, which totaled $65,000 for 4 acres of canopy without our knowledge. We applied for the CDD reduction in canopy, and the tax collectors accepted the reduction and issued a newly reducted cultivation tax balance that totaled $4,200. We did a partial payment of $2,100. At one point, the county was holding $52,100 connected to our farm's account, $50,000 from the Cannabis Equity Grant, and $2,100 from our double cash payment. And when we asked for a correction and a refund, we were told no refund could be issued and it would just sit as a credit. That is not consistent within your own tax code. We asked for answers, we got silence. We filed complaints with the Federal Trade Commissioner, the grand jury, the county complaint, a supervisor complaint, and the Go Biz complaint. Until one day, without explanation, a check for $2,100 showed up. Shortly after that, we were removed from the Equity Cannabis Grant. Not for fraud or misuse, but for filing complaints. We did a public records request for internal communications between Maria G. Turner, Patrick Sullivan, your attorney tax collector, and Casey Moreno, and Lloyd Guintano, the county counsel, showing your community development department apologizing to your attorney tax collector for the delays in taking our license and saying it wouldn't be easy. So I have to ask, was our revocation really about compliance, or was it about protecting the internal decisions that couldn't withstand the scrutiny? Your board already confirmed we cured and corrected, and yet we were still targeted. And that is the problem. When operators speak up, they get labeled as difficult. When they ask for accountability, it's personal. When we push back, we get financially drained, discredited, and pushed out. It's control, and it sends a clear message to the cannabis industry. This county does not want equity operators like John Evans or minority operators like myself who will ask the hard questions about why filing complaints isn't allowed or why unknown disqualifying factors refuse to be disclosed by the county. We refuse to accept half answers or allow you to kick the can down the road. Is this board serious about rebuilding trust? Then you need to act. Right now, the perception based on your own internal records, what we see is a leadership that protects itself at the expense of the people that it's supposed to serve. That's not how it's supposed to go. Mulayam.
Thank you. No more hands. Then I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. And we're going to move on to our 903 item, which is Pet of the Week. What?
Hello, everyone. My name is Officer Kramer. I'm with Lake County Animal Care.
Can you use the mic? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah, or Officer Kramer, sorry. I'm with Lake County Animal Care and Control here in Lakeport. And this is Chief. He's a very active boy. He is neutered. He prefers tennis balls and hard chew toys. And he is very well with other dogs. So if you do have an active lifestyle, I think this boy might be a good choice for you. But yeah, this is Chief. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody in the public have a comment on our Pet of the Week? Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our 6.3905, which is presentation of proclamation honoring the life and service of Marla Rizika. And I'll ask the family and anyone that's here for this to join me here on the stage. Yes. Thank you. And we also have someone online from the civic organization that's joining us virtually. But I'll go ahead and start with the proclamation. This is a proclamation of the Board of Supervisors of the County of Lake honoring the life and service of Marla Rizika. Whereas Marla Rizika, a devoted young Lake County native and compassionate humanitarian, volunteered her time and energy at the age of 16 while still attending Clear Lake High School to join Global Exchange. Upon graduation from Long Island University, she founded the Center for Civilians in Conflict, CIVIC, traveling courageously to Iraq and Afghanistan to bear witness to the suffering of innocent civilians and to document the human cost of war. And whereas through her tireless efforts, creating a team to count civilian casualties, to meet with grieving families, and to amplify the voices of those most impacted by war, Marla became a powerful advocate for truth, compassion, and accountability across international boundaries. And whereas Marla passionately lobbied before the United States Congress to establish and secure a multi-million-dollar fund for reparation to those who were injured and to civilian families who lost loved ones in the conflict, ensuring that justice and humanity would not be forgotten amid the turmoil of war. And whereas her service has reflected the highest ideals of civic duty, global citizenship, and moral leadership, the qualities that inspire others to act with courage and compassion in the face of adversity. Today, CIVIC, 23 years after its founding, operates in war zones around the world with some 120 employees and engages with our United States military, the United Nations, foreign nations, and whereas we remember that Marla tragically sustained fatal injuries in a car bomb explosion while traveling along Airport Road in Baghdad with her civic colleague and friend, Fiat Saili Salim, giving her life in the service to others and to her unwavering mission, aiding civilians in war zones. And whereas the Board of Supervisors joins the community, her family, friends, and colleagues in mourning her loss, celebrating her legacy, and honoring the light she brought through her work. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Lake County Board of Supervisors, on this day of remembrance of the 21st anniversary of her funeral in Lakeport, attended by over 1,000 people from around the world, including friends, neighbors, government representatives, all major news networks, hereby honor Marla Rizika for her extraordinary humanitarian service and the profound impact of her life's work carried on today by Civic. This board urges all citizens to reflect upon Marla's example of compassion, courage, and global solidarity, and to carry forward her spirit of kindness and advocacy during these difficult times. Passed and adopted this 28th of April, 2026 by our Board of Supervisors. Thank you. Thank you. And Nancy Rizika, Marla's mother, is going to say a few words now.
Thank you all for coming today. I know you're here for not only this, but other proclamations. It takes a village to raise a child. I once heard Hillary Clinton say this. Thanks to so many people, 21 years after Marla's death, I'm going to mention a few things that I thought you all would enjoy. Lake County Schools, St. Mary's Church, religious education, and Long Island University. Her request for entrance merely said to the question, why do you want to attend Long Island University's Friends World Program? And she said, because it's perfect for me. She kept it simple. Brock Falkenberg is here today, who carries on for Lake County Office of Education. Her sister Jill works with him. And also here is Joan Cox, who is one of her most favorite elementary school teachers. Thank you for being here. Her twin brother, Mark, has been a humanitarian since he was in the 4th grade. I remember a specific incident. I won't tell it. And he's also not only here in Lake County, he continues, but in Honduras with his lovely wife, Sandra, sitting in the front row. The Del Lago neighborhood where Marla grew up, and Mark, with year-round residents and the weekenders who would come in the summer. Marla would tell anyone in the world who would listen that she grew up in the most beautiful place in the world, Lake County, California. How many of you grew up here? Stand up. Wow. Stand up. Congratulations to all your educators and the beauty you share with people around the United States and around the world, that this is a wonderful place. Marla's half-sister, Jill Rizika, who grew up here, is standing here. She came up from Hollywood and within 7 days orchestrated the funeral that was attended by the 1,000 people from around the world. Visitors, Tony Farrington, then head of the chairman of the Lake County Board of Supervisors, helped Jill MC the service because we weren't sure any of us could keep it together at St. Mary's Church. Kelly Cox and the board members helped the press descending upon our home to learn about Lake County, including Good Morning America and the Today Show. The kitchen sink faucet blew up and the toilet got plugged up in the downstairs. Luckily, a plumber was present and got that problem solved. CNN had to go to the top of the Hopland grade to broadcast to Afghanistan and Iraq to the many people who knew and admired her and appreciated her there. Thanks to Norma Aldeghi sitting here in the center row, she logged and oversaw all the donations that poured in here from around the world to keep Civic going, the organization Marla started 2 years before she died, including a $10,000 donation from John Lennon's widow, Oko Ono. In Washington, D.C., for the Senate Memorial, speakers were Dianne Feinstein, Senator Leahy, and the president of Iraq sent his brother. It was Lars Ewing, who was stationed at Joint Base Andrews, stand up, Lars, who received a standing ovation with more applause than anyone in that huge Senate room. And thanks to Peter Windrum, who took my place on the Civic Board for his contributions to Civic and helped me keep my cool regarding the new leadership at Civic. Everyone wanted to be another Marla. In spite of my early concerns, thanks to all the people who have kept Civic going, now 120 people, as Brad said, strong, working around the world, advocating for civilians in war zones during these uncertain times. Thanks to Marla's father, the late Clifford Ruzicka, and Tim Reeser, who continues to work with the Senate on foreign appropriations, encouraged Marla to work both sides of the aisle. Come on, people. I love that song. Let's love one another right now. Thank you.
Stay up here. Can you guys stay up here, please? Stay here. Stay here. Mark, if you and Nancy could come back. Now we're going to have Joanna from Civic say a few words.
Good morning.
Go ahead, Joanna.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good, okay. Good morning, everyone. Wow, Nancy, that was so beautiful. It's an honor to speak to you on behalf of the Center for Civilians in Conflict. Marla Ruzicka founded Civic 23 years ago. Today, as Nancy mentioned, Civic now has 120 staff members around the globe. Civic envisions a world where every civilian is protected from the harms of conflict. Our work spans Belgium, Benin, Burkina Faso, Chad, Iraq, Kenya, Mali, Mauritania, the Netherlands, Niger, Nigeria, Somalia, Sudan, Switzerland, Syria, Togo, Ukraine, the US, and Yemen. In 2001 to 2005, Marla courageously went door to door in Iraq and Afghanistan, documenting civilian deaths and injuries, and then worked with the US military to get families compensation for their losses. This year, Civic launched the Marla Project, which continues Marla's work by seeking amends on behalf of specific families harmed in US operations today. It has been a great privilege this year to get to know Nancy, Mark, Sandra, and their beautiful children, and other family and friends of Marla's. Civic is so proud to carry on Marla's legacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any board members that wish to comment? Anybody in the public wish to comment on this?
I will briefly, Brad. I just
Go ahead, Supervisor.
I was speaking with Nancy last week, and we were talking about Marla, and then we realized that she was probably there during the time I was there. So I didn't see her, of course, but we were in the same country for probably a brief time. So just and then knowing her just through acquaintance. Of course, I wasn't a Clear Lake High School student, but I knew of most of the people from there. So and when I heard about all of this, it was really devastating to know, especially someone from Lake County, and how influential she was. So just wanted to say that.
Thank you. And now if we could get the board down here, we'll do a picture.
Okay. I just wanted to say the first thing I asked EJ, were you carrying a little notice the size of a business card in the pocket of your uniform to tell you how to handle a civilian injury or casualty? That came a little later after EJ had left the war zone.
Thank you. And let's get the picture here so we can get Joanna in it too.
Thank you, Joanne.
We're going to move on to our 6.4 item. This is a presentation of proclamation designating May 2nd through 9th, 2026 as National Osteogenesis Imperfecta OI Awareness Week in Lake County. Supervisor Sabate is going to handle this.
I'm going to steal something from past predecessor Michael Green. He did the right thing, so I'm going to follow his suit. If you want to come up front. Good to see you again. So today we have a proclamation designating May 2nd through 9th, 2026 as National Osteogenesis Imperfecta Awareness Week in Lake County. Whereas osteogenesis imperfecta is a genetic bone disorder characterized by fragile bones that break easily. It is also known as brittle bone disease. A person born with OI is affected throughout his or her lifetime. And whereas there are many different types of OI with symptoms that range from mild to life-threatening, with variable clinical features such as fracture frequency, muscle strength, or extraskeletal problems affecting vision, hearing, or other body organs and functions. And whereas, because there is no cure for OI, treatment focuses on minimizing fractures, the surgical correction of deformity, reducing bone fragility, maximizing mobility, and independent function. And whereas it is estimated that approximately 25,000 to 50,000 people in the United States have OI, and with good medical treatment and supportive care, the majority of people will lead healthy, productive lives with an average lifespan. And whereas increased funding is needed for education and research to help find more effective treatments. And whereas the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation, a voluntary national health organization, strives to improve the quality of life for people with osteogenesis imperfecta by increasing awareness of this rare disease among the public, media, government, and medical communities. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Lake County Board of Supervisors does hereby designate May 2nd through 9th, 2026 as National Osteogenesis Imperfecta Awareness Week in Lake County and recognizes the courageous and unbreakable spirit of those affected. Passed and adopted this 28th day of April, 2026, and signed by our board chair.
So I'm pretty sure this is my second year doing this, because I think we did it last year. And I just want to say a lot of stuff has affected me and changed in my life since doing this. Throughout my life, I've tried to get the city of Lakeport to add crosswalks and add stoplights and add everything that would make it easier for me to be able to live, essentially. And it wasn't until I was in my teenage years that finally things started to happen. And still things could use some work, especially where I live. There could be like lights or whatever. But I just want to say that I really want to thank my mom for helping me, because without her, I feel like I would be a person that wouldn't go outside very much, wouldn't really interact with the world. But with her help, I am now in the theater company, and I went out there and I did things, and I just want to say I'm really happy that we're doing this and spreading more awareness, because I am the only one like this with this disease in Lakeport, and so I really want to spread awareness, and so I'm really happy that we're doing this.
And we're going to bring the board down and get a picture.
Stand behind us.
Yeah, we can stand behind him. Mom, want to come up?
Yes. No, sit down. I'll stand back and sit down. I was gonna stand anyway, but.
One, two, three. Perfect.
And we want to thank you for making sure that we bring this out and bring this increased public awareness on this disease. So thank you. What was that? No, I was getting ready to. Was there any public comment on this last proclamation before we move on? Anything else? Okay, we're going to move on to our 9:15, 6.5 item, which is presentation of proclamation designating April 2026 as Autism Acceptance Month in Lake County. And I'll ask anyone who's here for that to join me up here. You can come up here. Yeah. Wait, however it works. We can get a lot of people up here, but
Coming up, guys.
come on up. You can get up there as far as you need to.
Make yourselves comfortable up
Hell
here.
yeah. The only reason last time I was here it was because of my mom and my
Hi, Patrick.
We have plenty of room up here.
Nice.
Okay.
How are you?
You're fine where you are.
Yeah. The only time I ever was here was my ex-stepdad.
Okay, I think we're ready. We can get started? Yeah. All right, this is a proclamation of the Lake County Board of Supervisors designating April 2026 as Autism Acceptance Month in Lake County. Whereas April 2026 is recognized as Autism Acceptance Month, a time dedicated to promoting understanding, inclusion, and respect for autistic individuals, and whereas Autism Acceptance Month is observed annually from April 1st through April 30th and represents a continued effort to move beyond awareness toward genuine acceptance and meaningful inclusion. And whereas autistic individuals are valued members of our community whose unique perspectives, talents, and contributions enrich our schools, workplaces, and civic life. And whereas fostering acceptance means recognizing autistic individuals as complete human beings, embracing neurodiversity, and ensuring equitable opportunities for all to thrive. And whereas families, educators, advocates, and organizations play a vital role in creating supportive and inclusive environments that empower autistic individuals to reach their full potential. And whereas the shift from awareness to acceptance, formally adopted in 2021, reflects the voices and leadership of autistic self-advocates who have long called for dignity, respect, and inclusion. And whereas building a more inclusive community requires ongoing commitment to understanding compassion, accessibility, and celebration of differences. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Lake County Board of Supervisors designates April 2026 as Autism Acceptance Month and encourages all residents to promote acceptance, foster inclusion, and celebrate the diversity that strengthens our community. Be it further proclaimed that we reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that all individuals, including those on the autism spectrum, are treated with dignity, respect, and provided opportunities to fully participate in all aspects of community life. Passed and adopted this 28th day of April, 2026 by our Board of Supervisors. Thank you. And I wanted to thank Robin Aceves for contacting me and making sure that we're bringing awareness to this and supporting our community in this area. I did buy a bunch of autism acceptance pins that I have. I don't know how many we have left, but we're going to leave them here. If anyone wants them, you're welcome to grab those, and I'm going to let Robin say a few words.
First of all, thank you so much, Supervisor Rasmussen, for getting this proclamation done. This is a really good moment for all of us. I'm going to speak for our organization on the behalf of all our staff and participants in Ability Road. We thank you for this, and we hope that more people become more open to the things that our community can do. We have a lot of great people in our, we got workers, we got people that want to do great things, and it's just really important that they have a chance to do that. So thank you.
Thank you. And I think we'll get a picture with the board. I don't know where we're going to put everybody, but.
If I could just say,
go ahead.
I feel like I'm surrounded by truth tellers because I have learned of many folks around in my life who have been on the spectrum, and I wish we can take some of their abilities and use their superpower within us because I've seen that superpower and it's exceptional.
Well said. Thank you. Do we have anyone else who wishes to comment? Nope. Did you want to say something?
Can I say something real quick?
What was that?
Can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, for my birthday's coming up, and my birthday's coming up pretty soon. I'm going to be the 26th on my birthday. And on my birthday, stop. We talk about my birthday.
Okay.
And I can wait. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think we're ready for a picture.
Okay, Brittany.
Here's our photographer here, Trevor.
Everybody, wait.
Everybody look at Trevor. Thank you.
You okay? Right. You told everybody. They all heard. Enough for you guys.
You gotta come out this way. Yeah, you gotta turn around.
Start to see who we are.
Absolutely.
Well, that just crept up, Susan.
Yeah, she just grabbed up.
I said that just crept up.
All right, we got everybody. Where's Nate? Where's Nate? All right, let's go, guys. Let's go. You find it odd that they keep leaving it out?
I'm going to give it just a second.
No?
I do. I think it's almost deliberate.
And next, we're going to move on to our 6.6920 item. This is presentation of proclamation designating May 2026 as Mental Health Matters Month in Lake County. And everybody here for that, again, please come up and join Supervisor Crandall, who will handle this proclamation.
Oh, yeah, grab one. All right, it looks like we have everybody. I'll go ahead and read this proclamation for designating May 2026 as Mental Health Matters Month in Lake County. Whereas every day millions of people face stigma related to mental illness, causing many to face their mental health challenges for years without help. Each May, Mental Health Matters Month provides the opportunity for everyone to come together to illuminate mental health awareness in an effort to stop the stigma. Bringing forth this awareness is crucial to helping people reach out for the assistance they deserve. And whereas mental health challenges are one of the most common health conditions in California, affecting 1 out of 7 adults and 1 out of 14 youth, and impacting both the person experiencing mental health challenges and those persons who care and love the person facing the challenge. And whereas 1 out of every 26 Californians with a serious mental health illness have difficulty functioning in everyday life, and if left untreated, have life expectancies 25 years shorter than the general population. Whereas every day millions of people face stigma related to mental health and may feel isolated and alone, going years before receiving any help. Whereas recovery can and does happen, and all of Lake County should know that support and help is available regardless of any individual situation. And whereas creating a community where everyone feels comfortable reaching out for the support they deserve is crucial to ending the stigma around mental health. And whereas access to support and ending the stigma is of paramount importance. And whereas Lake County recognizes and appreciates the many community partners, advocates, and organizations who work tirelessly to promote mental wellness and reduce stigma. And whereas Lake County Behavioral Health Services wishes to increase public understanding of mental health now, and by promoting early intervention can significantly improve outcomes for individuals and families.
Now therefore be it proclaimed, the Lake County Board of Supervisors hereby designates May 2026 as Mental Health Matters Month in Lake County and encourages all residents to support one another through compassion, understanding, and active participation in creating a stigma-free community. Passed and adopted this 28th day of April, signed by the Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Brad Rasmussen. All right, anybody like to speak on this?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elise Jones, and I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Lake County Behavioral Health Services for the past 3 years. I'm also an individual with lived experience. What does that mean? That means I have diagnoses of post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and major depressive disorder. We'll stop there. I take medications on a daily basis to manage these illnesses, like many people do for diseases like diabetes and hypertension. So we don't really bat an eye when we talk about chronic health conditions, but yet today we know that stigma still persists, as evidenced by the gap that people experience from the point that they begin experiencing mental health problems to the point at which they receive treatment. We're working hard every day to close that gap. I'm proud to say that we've expanded mental health services pretty dramatically in an attempt to meet what is clearly a big need in this county. We are also a peer-run organization. Again, people with lived experience serving the community members, right? It makes a big difference. So I'm really proud to stand alongside staff and community partners, many of whom I've worked with for a long, long time because we're getting old now. And it's just fills my heart with gratitude. We are throwing a big party on May 9th. It's at the Courthouse Museum Park. As we do every year, we're green. We're going to have a fun time. So we hope to see you there. And I know we have other people that want to come speak.
Thank you, Elise. So my name is Megan Morgan, and I'm the Community Liaison at Lake County Behavioral Health Services. Good morning, Chair, members of the board, and all of our community members here today. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize Mental Health Matters Month here in Lake County. Like many people in our community, I have struggled with my mental health. In fact, 1 in 5 adults experience a mental health condition each year, and I'm one of them. There was a time in my life when stigma almost kept me from seeking help. I worried about how I would be perceived and whether speaking up would change how others saw me. But I did seek support, and it made all the difference. That experience is why this work matters so deeply to me, because behind every number is a person, a neighbor, a coworker, a family member, who deserves to feel seen, supported, and to know they are not alone. Mental Health Matters Month is about more than awareness. It's about connection. It's about creating a community where people feel safe to ask for help and confident that help will be there when they do. If there's one message I hope we can all carry forward, it's this: you are not alone, and you don't have to go through it alone. I also want to make sure that everyone is aware of our mobile crisis response team. If you or someone you know is in crisis, you can reach out to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-900-2075. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lori Carter-Runyon, Executive Director of Hilltop Recovery Services. I am here to support Mental Health Month for many reasons. First, I also suffer from mental health issues. It's extreme ADHD, I've suffered from PTSD, OCD, and as other people said, many other issues. One of the things that we've addressed for many years at Hilltop Recovery is also the mental health issues. It was something that we were pushed away from for a long time, and you'd be surprised to realize that people suffering from drug addiction often are really uncomfortable accepting their mental health diagnosis or willing to take medications. And so reducing that stigma and allowing them to understand that they can recover and that people in the community suffer from mental health issues. I own it. I'm an executive director. I have a substance use issue. I also have mental health conditions. I don't have shame on it. I accept it as part of who I am. And I want the message out there to the people to understand they can too. The shame and the stigma are something we have to fight with many things. But together we can make a difference. I support the mobile crisis team, and I've actually had to call them numerous times because I'm also an individual of this community, and I will stop on the side of the road when I see somebody in crisis. In that sense, I make that call to mobile crisis, and I've actually worked with them a few times in the field to get people help by making contact and then being able to hand it over, which has really made a difference. So with that, supporting mental health is really important to us and this community. Thank you.
I just want to say, Lori, I wanted to thank you because I know my mother stayed at Hilltop Recovery, and my mother did have generational trauma from her life and a lot of mental health issues that also were passed down to me, where I self-medicated, and I am a veteran with PTSD, so I know what it's like to self-medicate and then finally come to a point where I went to the VA and got help and started addressing those things. And so I wanted to share that with all of you that we need to really take care of it. Your team is there to help people take care of it. And if there's anyone out there, please make sure you know a lot of the folks with these mental health challenges. They're looking at the worst of the worst case scenario. They look at what's going to happen that's the most darkest. And so a lot of times they can't see, if 5 things that are great happen, they only see the worst. So that's part of the issue there. And that's just continuously compounding on top of what they're already struggling with.
Any board members?
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Supervisor Owen.
Hi. You know, I honestly believe that your statistics were at 20%, 1 out of 5. But I'm going to go out on a limb and probably say that it's much, much higher than that. The 1 out of 5 is probably what is what we have statistics on, because there's a lot of people that don't come forward, that suffer in silence, and perhaps not all the time, but they're going to go through it sometime in their life. I'm going to say it's probably well over 50%. They're going to go through it at some point in their life. So thank you so much for what you do, and yep, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Owen. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to any further comment? If not, no hands online. We'll get a picture.
One, two, three. Perfect.
Rashida.
We'll change the decoration for you.
Yeah, we got 2 more. And we're going to move on to our 6.7925 item, which is presentation of proclamation designating the month of April 2026 as California Friday Night Live Month, and Supervisor Sabatier will handle this one.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you, Chair, for giving me this proclamation. Not only is this a personal joy for me to do this, and you'll find out later, I'm sure, but I really appreciate that a friend of mine from college has taken on a role of leadership in helping our youth and better understanding the world around them and how they can affect change in the world. So, Richie, thank you for what you're doing with this club. Today, the proclamation designating April 2026 as California Friday Night Live Month. Whereas the Friday Night Live program, which was established in 1984 as the model program for the state of California and engaging young people as active leaders in their communities to reduce underage alcohol use and address other challenges faced by their peers by building partnerships for positive youth development. And whereas the Friday Night Live program engages youth partners from grade 4 through high school and beyond, ensuring that they benefit from the continued growth and enhancement of this youth-led, youth-driven program and the unique opportunities it provides. And whereas youth in Friday Night Live programs experience an environment that provides for physical and emotional safety, which allows them to express their authentic selves. And whereas youth participants learn about their communities through participatory action, research, and meaningful engagement with stakeholders, leading to positive connections and interactions that contribute to healthier environments. And whereas youth leaders in Friday Night Live programs have opportunities to participate in the decision-making processes, express their opinions constructively, hear those of others, and take action on issues they are passionate about. And whereas participants build caring and meaningful relationships with their peers and adult allies that support a sense of belonging and connectedness to their school and broader community. And whereas youth partners experience opportunities for interesting and relevant skill development activities to build resiliency, establish healthy attitudes and behaviors, and foster academic success. And whereas Friday Night Live programs prepare the leaders of tomorrow through real-world skill-building experiences and community partnerships, ensuring the workforce of the future is equipped with the necessary skills and compassion to foster healthy and thriving communities across California. And whereas during the month of April 2026, Friday Night Live youth leaders in 55 counties throughout the state of California will highlight their efforts to prevent underage drinking, gambling, and tobacco, cannabis, and other drug use by mobilizing their communities with a unified call to action. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lake County Board of Supervisors join with the Lake County Department of Behavioral Health Services to designate the month of April 2026 as California Friday Night Live Month and applauds Friday Night Live youth leaders and their adult allies who are committed to improving the quality of life for present and future generations, passed and adopted this 28th day of April 2026 and signed by our board chair.
I'm going to bring up Sophie. Sophie's going to share a little bit about what we're doing this year for our club, and then I'll have something else to speak on in a moment.
Hi, my name's Sophie Sabatier, and this year our club focused on underage cannabis use prevention and education campaign. We surveyed over half of our school. We went from class to class giving an anonymous survey, trying to understand more how much cannabis use is really going on in the youth with our school. We will be using the data to present to Clear Lake Council on May. Please come to the City Council meeting on May 21st at 6 p.m. and support the club's effort in using local data to drive policy change. Thank you.
As mentioned, my name is Richard Okino. I am the club advisor for the youth club. While listening to everybody's proclamations, your advocacy, Marla's advocacy, I decided to do a quick Google search of Marla. I think it's important that we shed light and illuminate Marla Ruzicka's life of activism, advocacy, selfless leadership. Her vision and will to make a difference in lives across the globe is a reminder that it does not matter where you come from, where you grow up. If you're passionate about a topic, you can leave a legacy and impact lives around the world. Marla lived a life of advocacy and leadership, which are characteristics of the Friday Night Live Club. Any one of these club members can end up becoming a Marla, right? And so what I want to highlight about the club is that it's a youth development leadership club. Exposing them to the Board of Supervisors, exposing them to the City Council, it is imperative that we do that to our young people, because this allows them to increase their protective factors and decrease their risk factors, right? And so we all know how much risk factors there are, but there's just as many protective factors, and it starts with the adult allies, right? And so I encourage everybody to come, or at least view the City Council, Clear Lake City Council meeting on May 21st at 6 p.m. were their efforts, right? That gathering data, it took about 2 months. It was hard. It was hard work what they did. And they did it in a way that they didn't get duplicate efforts, right? Duplicates. And so I just encourage everybody to tune in on that day and support these youth. Thank you.
Are you ready for a picture? Or?
Oh, one last second. I do want to give a shout out to LCOE. They partnered with us. We have a club. They are club advisors for the POMO Club, as well as the OMS, the Obsidian Middle School Club. We do have plans to expand out to other school districts, so stay tuned. But they've been, it's been very, very appreciative to have LCOE because they just have a lot of connections in the school, and they have vans and transport. And not only that, Ailita is very, very passionate about all the kids at all the schools that she attends. So I'm very, very appreciative of her, as well as OCOE.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. I think we're ready for a picture. One more, hang on.
You're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, twice in less than 4 days.
Now we're going to move on to our 6.8, 929 item, presentation of proclamation designating May 2026 as CalFresh Awareness Month in Lake County. Anyone here for that, please join Supervisor Crandall up here on the stage.
The picture we took is proof that they're not truant from school.
All right. I think that's everyone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation designating May 2026 as CalFresh Awareness Month in Lake County. Whereas CalFresh is a monthly benefit for food purchases that helps low-income residents gain access to healthy foods, and participation can play a crucial role in improving the health and status of vulnerable populations. And whereas every $1 in CalFresh generates $1.79 in local economic activity. And whereas 15,870 individuals in Lake County are currently receiving CalFresh benefits totaling $2.9 million per month, $38.7 million in benefits over the course of the last year. And whereas the County of Lake Department of Social Services recognizes the need to reduce hunger by increasing access to and participation in food assistance benefits, particularly for elderly, disabled families and children, and is committed to an outreach and public awareness campaign that promotes equity and inclusion in access and to increasing awareness of potentially eligible Lake County residents about the benefits of CalFresh. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Lake County Board of Supervisors does hereby designate May 2026 as CalFresh Awareness Month in Lake County, passed and adopted this 28th day of April 2026, County of Lake, signed by the County of Lake Chair, Board of Supervisors, Brad Rasmussen. I get tongue-tied when I have to read more than one. Who would like to come up and speak? All right.
Thank you. So, Tara Gandolfo, CalFresh Program Manager. CalFresh is close to my heart because we feed people. Want to say a couple things. One, if you're listening, you have CalFresh, they still do the match at several of our local farmers markets. Thank you. I drew a blank. I also want to point out these lovely ladies in the gray shirts. That's our outreach team. If you see them out there,
come say hi. They can answer questions, and if they can't, they'll find the answers. The other faces here all have something to do with CalFresh in a way that makes sure that we run it in the right way and that everybody that we can gets reached. So thank you for that. Plus the lots of teams at home that are actually working on benefits now. If you need to apply and you can't come down to our office, benefitscal.com is a great tool. Look us up. You can apply, you can do all of your documents, uploading everything on there. It's pretty magical. If you can't figure that out, because some of us are not as technologically savvy, like myself, you can come down to the office and Karen's team will help you fill out an application if needed. A couple things I want to point out. One is if you have CalFresh, you can still go to the local food banks and receive commodities there. It's not a no. And sometimes I hear when we're out doing those things that people will say, oh, I have CalFresh, I can't get that. I want you to know, yes, you can. And the second thing I want to say is that we're coming into a time where CalFresh is going to change. And locally, it's going to impact our local residents quite a bit. I want to thank the board. They went out of their way when CalFresh stopped to make sure that we had some way of actually reaching our community. Food is important. Please, please, if you know somebody who needs it, food banks, or come in and let us help fill out those things. So just want to say, CalFresh rules, thanks.
And I just want to thank you folks for all the work you're doing. I've had the opportunity to work with some of you in collaboration with the Gleaners throughout last year, and just want to appreciate your collaboration with those resources as well, because I think we know that CalFresh doesn't necessarily cover all the need, and that's why these other community organizations are critical for us to work with as well. So thank you for that. Do we, any other board members, or not? Doesn't look like it. Anybody in the public? No? No hands? Let's get a picture.
You're such a turkey. Thank you guys. Thank you.
And we're going to go on our morning break. I'm going to call our meeting back to order. And we're going to move on to our 6.9 item, 9:30 a.m. item, public hearing consideration of a resolution amending the master fee schedule for departmental services rendered by the county. This will be handled by our administrative office. I'll turn it over to our Deputy CAO, Casey Moreno.
Good morning. Thank you. So Chapter 2 of the Lake County Code of Ordinances, Article 28, allows for the review and update of the master fee schedule at reasonable and timely intervals. Before you today are updates to the master fee schedule, adjustments by CPI, cost studies, and state and federal mandated laws. The Consumer Price Index is calculated using the Department of Labor's Consumer Price Index for the urban customers in San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose metropolitan areas. This year, the CPI is 2.48%. The changes presented today include Ag, Animal Control, Assessor Recorder, Auditor Controller, Behavioral Health, Building and Safety, Code, Planning, Public Services, which is now part of Public Works, Sheriff, and Water Resources. Are there any questions?
Do we have any questions from board members at this time? Go ahead, Okay. We'll start with Supervisor Sabatier.
I'll let the record be shown that I pulled my pen out at 10:45. I think that's historical. I'm not going to say no to this, but I think that we need to have a deep conversation. from a layman perspective, walking into a list like this is one of the most overwhelming things to ever lay eyes on. As far as what is it going to cost me to do my project, I have no idea until I ask somebody to tell me how much it's going to cost to do my project. There's just so many line items to look through. And so I guess what I want to say is I'm confused as to why certain things cost a certain amount and why we don't just say, here's who you're dealing with, here's the hourly wage that this person is costing the county, and you're paying the hourly wage because you're paying for the time spent on this. I just want to have a deeper conversation, because sometimes we use percentages on things which I'm not fully comprehending. So we did reduce the construction cost at one point. I want to say 2022. I'm looking at CDD staff. I think it was 2022 or 2023, from 3% construction cost to 2.6. But I can also vouch for you and say that between 2015 and 2020, we went from like 100 to 150, let's just say 200 as a high example, per square foot of construction of a house to above 400, but we stayed at 3%. So I feel like if the construction cost doubled, but we kept the same percentage, like, I don't know, something's not sitting well with me with the percentages, and certain CPI increases don't make sense when it's an hourly wage. It makes sense if we gave raises, but it doesn't make sense for a CPI increase on an hourly wage. And I feel like there needs to be a holistic conversation. We've been talking a whole lot about fees and what it means to have these fees to our development of our community. And I know what it probably ultimately means is potentially a reduction in what our revenue is. But as far as I'm concerned, we're supposed to pay for a finite amount of stuff based on the fees that we collect. And if we're doing it hourly, that covers everything from putting money aside for the next general plan, putting money aside for the next housing element, putting money aside for, all the stuff that makes for the compounded whole cost of using a service. Some of these costs are going to be at a loss because they're not hourly, and some of these costs are going to be at a gain because they're not hourly, and some of these costs, if we're doing percentages, on a $500,000 construction cost of a house, you would get $13,000. I divided it by the chief building official, and it would be 80 plus hours that would pay for. And I just want to have a deep dive. That's all. I just want to have a deep dive. Today, I don't have enough information to say no at this very moment in time. It's a CPI increase. We're legitimately allowed to do that. But I just kind of want to hit a bit of a pause button and say, this is the most convoluted, confusing thing for me to look at. And I can't explain to somebody who wants to build something what the actual costs will be. And I think that we can simplify this by just saying, here's the hourly wage for the people that you approach at these counters, and these are the services that they can provide to you. We don't have to say this is how much it costs to do siding. This is how much it costs to do roofing. I bet you it's the same person that reviews that, and we can use an hourly wage for that. And again, the construction cost, with the way it's gone up so fast in the past decade, that 3% today is a whole lot more than the 3% from before. And I'm not being told that we're making a whole lot more money. Maybe that's because we don't have as many homes being built, even though there has been a increase due to the rebuild, but maybe not as many new homes being built. But I don't know. That's where my mind is, and I just needed to express it because I think we're only we're layering and layering and layering, and I feel like we just kind of start from scratch and simplify, because it is complex and complicated, and we should make it as simple as possible.
So specific to CDD, we are doing, we have a consultant that will be coming in. I don't believe we've selected somebody yet, but the RFP did close, and so there is a panel assigned to that. So that is something that they will be looking at, is how the fees are calculated, and if there's a way that we can streamline it, just have a blanket hourly rate that then can be applied to things. But we will absolutely talk to the consultant once somebody is selected and see if CPI is acceptable for CDD's permit increases over the next few years, or if we should redo fee studies each year. It'll be a conversation, but that's specific to their department. It's not all departments.
And yes, the 3% is, but the overall, the hourly wage versus a set cost, that can work for environmental health, that can work for a whole lot of others as well. And I think I have 16 pages and that's just the changes, let alone the entirety of everything. I just think it's too much. Like, we have to find the point where it is overly complicated for the average person that lives here to have an understanding on their own what this is and what it means. And we shouldn't always have to take time to just ask the simple question of, I want to build something, what's it going to cost? Then we're going to ask them to pay us because it's going to take us a whole lot of time to figure it out too, because it's that complicated. So
clarification, just so I understand, are you suggesting maybe if this goes forward, then over the next year before it comes back, that we figure out some kind of a plan to address those questions or possibilities that you're laying out?
100%. And I think what we need to do is just be very real and say, are these fees conducive to development in our community? And if we're not seeing the development in our community, it doesn't have to be the fees, but I think we should still have the conversation to see, is there a better way to do this to make it more conducive?
Thank you for clarifying that. Supervisor Owen, we'll go to you.
I have quite a few questions, and I'm sorry I didn't call you yesterday on this. I was busy, but I didn't get to you, so I apologize. As I'm understanding this, the annual fees, with a 2.48 CPI, I'm just worried about the sustainability on that. I know that in our current recommendations for our general plan, it's something that we have brought up at the Middletown LAPAC. They're wanting to increase they're wanting to change our building requirements and require it to be fire resistance. And that's going to increase the cost of building by about 2 to 3 times, which means this CPI would go up and meet that as well. So our current 1,500 square foot house, for instance, if it's costing, as Bruno said, it'd be a larger house, but for $500,000, that $500,000 house is going to cost $1 million to $1.5 million to build, somewhere in that zone, and this is going to increase by 2.5 on that amount. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And so I have a real concern with it as well. We're supposed to be trying to help people build, and we are constantly getting in the way. Our restrictions, our requirements, and that is one of the reasons I had brought that particular item up already. I also seen on, I made notes on your pages, so it'd be page 8, behavioral health, where it was a much larger increase. We have the I'm having trouble reading.
Psychiatric
health facility, and it went from 988 to 1322.50. Adult crisis went from 419 to 551, and our adult residential went from 105 per day to 493 per day. So that was one that I'd found that I had issues with. There was another one where the cannabis was not addressed at all. There's no increases at all across the board on any of the cannabis stuff. Is there studies or price indexes? Did you do one with other counties on the cannabis? Because that was not touched.
We did not do that this year.
Okay.
There was one done previously to establish that fee, but we have not.
Okay, so that's why there was no increases in there. Page 26. Oh, nope, that's that one I understand. Page 30, assessor's records for rezone fees. Most of them were within the cap or not drastic, but our assessor recorder rezone fees went up from 155 to 542, which is a big jump and needs to be questioned.
And I'm sorry, that was on the assessor's fees?
Yeah, page 30.
Second one under other fees. It's actually under Public Works.
Oh,
On that page that she said 26 it was, I believe.
Is page 30.
Sorry, page 30, but it's under Public Works heading.
And then the last one would be, I was surprised that the sheriff's department was, had bingo fees, bingo licensing fees. Is that something new?
No, it's been in there since 78, I think is when the ordinance was created.
Really?
I didn't realize.
And that goes, and that goes under, I just thought it was a funny place for it under the sheriff's department.
Yes, because they regulate the businesses doing bingo.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the Public Works, the rezone fee, that was based on the hourly rate of the surveyor and the time studies of 4 hours. So it's 4 hours times their hourly rate.
Okay.
And then on behavioral health.
So that was justified.
Yes. So for behavioral health, it was an increase, which is a state mandated from DHCS, Department of Healthcare Services. And so that increase was a increase that they govern.
We've just done so many increases in that particular department, and there's so much money being spent. And I just want to know, that still doesn't really explain why there's such a large increase from 105 to almost 500. From 100 to 500, pretty close. That's a huge jump per day. And then there's other fees too. So yeah, I just would like to see more material on that and why how that's justified.
Sure.
But primarily the increase, the CPI, and how's that going to affect if we put other restrictions within the county as far as the building materials that we will be using, and that's going to affect what the bottom line on many people.
Sure.
Thank you.
I just need to, we're going to continue our discussion and take public comment, but we're not going to be able to move forward with action on this item today, as I understand, because the resolution was not uploaded for this item. So I just want to make that announcement that we won't be taking action. It'll end up getting continued for a decision, but I have a question. Did you have more questions?
I just wanted to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead. And then
Just the comment for behavioral health, I don't believe that we are increasing those. Those are based on the costs that Medi-Cal probably has already set for us, because I'm seeing those same increases, very similar numbers coming through our contracts. And so it's not us just randomly deciding. It's based on Medi-Cal reimbursement. Now, I'm saying that with the best of my potential knowledge to try to at least to help explain what it is that I saw and what it is that you were commenting about.
Okay.
And I think, there are some areas where like maybe the clerk fees are based on state statutes too. I think there's some situations like that. But I have a question about, because I was going to ask, you mentioned it about that we are hiring this consultant that's going to have an overall review of community development, not just about this, but other things. So glad to see that this will be addressed in there as well. And I'm just assuming at this point that if the board ends up approving this prior to that, because that's going to take a little while, that we would then readjust again if that had valid considerations that we wanted to take into account. Okay. Is there any further board questions or comments at this time? Anything further from administration that you want to offer? Then I would go ahead and open it up to the public for any comments about this item at this point. Not seeing any in the room. Is there any online? No. So we'll go ahead and close public comment, bring it back to the board for any, we won't be taking action today, but we need to figure out when it would be continued to, and if there's anything further the board wants to state before we do that. Do we have a suggestion on a date for a continuance?
Next week.
And While
ahead.
while she's looking for a date, I just want to check in if there was a consensus of having that deep dive conversation regarding fees and the complexity of the list. I, again, saw it's 37 total pages of different fees for all the different departments, and just looking for simplification and deep conversation.
I'd be okay with that. I don't know how it looks, how we would, who would be on that group to look at this, but I'm okay with
I would ask admin to take the lead in deciding how best to move along with it.
Okay. So I think what was that? Okay. So we have consensus and direction.
I move to continue this public hearing to May 5th at 10:45 a.m.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
Thank you.
4-0. So thank you. We'll see you back on the 5th. With that, I'm going to move on to our 6.10 item, which is a public hearing. Consideration of a resolution approving resolutions submitted by Lake County fire agencies and making findings and requesting the County of Lake implement fire mitigation fees with the automatic inflation pursuant to Lake County Fire Mitigation Fee Ordinance. And I understand at this point that there's some things that need to be addressed in there. So we're going to have a request to move this off to another date. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Supervisor Sabatier?
I've submitted all the information to the individual fire districts to let them know what
Okay.
changes they would need to review.
Okay. Any further from the board on this? What was that? Correct, but I have to open up to public regarding whether or not we're going to continue. Open the public comment period for just regarding whether we would continue this item. Not seeing any in the room. Is there any online? There's none, so I'll close public comment, bring it back to the board. Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
Yes, since these are resolutions that were approved by the individual district boards, I'd like to at least give them about 30 days. So if it's possible, May 26th.
No meeting that day.
So I guess my question for Mr. Guintavano is, does it require 30 days prior to going live? Because the live date is July 1st. So is it still possible to do July 1st if we do it as of June 2nd?
Well, we can look into that, set a tentative date at this point. If it needs to come back to your board to reschedule, then it can be agendized as such. It is a resolution, so it's not an ordinance. So there may be some other requirements out there that we'll need to check into if that may address or that 30-day time period.
And I may have been reading the actual ordinance that we originally passed where I got that 30 days from. So, okay.
Does May 19th have room, or would that not? Do you think that
I
would?
just want to
be-
make sure they have enough time to be able to review and resolve their resolutions.
That's about 21, 22 days. I don't know. Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So we have, go ahead, Mr. Guintavano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now that Supervisor Sabatier did mention that it is, I do recall coming across that provision in the ordinance that does address or state that there has to be 30 days from July 1 for any action to be taken for the resolutions that are in effect. So that would take into effect that there has to be at least 30 days in between.
Mhm.
So your board may want to consider at least even tentatively scheduling it in accordance with that.
So May 19th.
Yeah, that would be our last meeting and available. Is there room for that? 2:30. Okay. We'll make it work.
I move to continue this public hearing to May 19th at 2:30 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 4-0. And I believe we'll take up our 5.4 item pulled. Let me read that off. Gotta get to it. We're going to take up 5.4, which is adopt a resolution amending resolution. Yeah, go ahead.
Chair, please take up 5.11 until because she's here. Ms.
Okay.
Mariah is here.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Strike that. We're going to go on to our 5.11 item, which is second reading. Adopt an ordinance amending ordinance number 3153, adopting development agreement 2401 for the Gwinnett Valley Mixed Use Plan Development Project. We have community development here. And do you want to give an overview on the item?
I'll just defer to County Council for the explanation.
Okay, County Council, can you go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. For purposes of the second reading of the ordinance, staff has identified an additional minor revision to the ordinance itself. The amendment, the revision was already reflected on the exhibit that's attached to the ordinance. So really, as a minor housekeeping matter, should be reflected in the main body of the ordinance itself. And I could walk your board through with that as far as the amended, the revision itself, so that your board can still proceed with offering the ordinance as amended.
Okay. Any questions for board or?
No.
No, then I believe I need to open to the public still. There's no other, what's that?
I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just identify.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's to be added. It's really on page 3 of the main ordinance document itself.
Yeah.
Where a section, an item number 8, I would just say, would be added, which would state as follows: Section 12.5 of Exhibit A, and in parentheses, the DA 24-01 is hereby amended to read as follows. Then it would go on to state 12.5, the county encourages the developer to continue to work with the Calliope County Water District regarding the district's purchase of a portion of the off-site well site and the district's operation of a well thereon pursuant to the existing term sheet between the developer and the district. If the district purchases and operates a well pursuant to the term sheet, developer shall grant the district all rights to groundwater associated with the off-site well site. And that would be the revision.
Okay. Questions from supervisors about that revision? No? Okay. We'll go ahead and open it up to the public. Is there anyone in the room that wishes to address this item? And there's nothing online, so I'll close public comment and bring it back to the board for action.
I will offer the ordinance with the amendment.
Supervisor Owen.
Aye.
Supervisor Sabatier.
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall.
Yes.
And Supervisor Rasmussen.
Aye.
Thank you.
So that carries 4-0. And we'll go ahead and close that item. Now I'm going to move back to item 5.4, which is adopt a resolution amending resolution 2025-72, establishing salaries and benefits for management employees for the period of July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2029. And we have our administrative department and human resources here. And who would like to open this? HR, go ahead, Director Samick.
Good morning, Board. Pam Samick, Director of Human Resources, but I'm actually going to hand this over to Diana Rico, Deputy Director, who worked through this part of the project, and have her present it to you.
Thank you.
Hello, Diana Rico, Deputy HR Director. So for your consideration today, we have updated the salary table for the management MOU, Management Employee Unit 1. The salary table includes changes that have been previously approved by your board during the fiscal year 2025-2026 adopted budget, position allocation amendments for fiscal year 25-26, mid-year budget adjustments, and the one that has not been approved previously is revisions that resulted from the consolidation of the Public Services Department and Public Works. I included in the memo the resolutions that had previously been approved, new positions that had been added, and the grade amendments to previous positions. Any questions?
Do we have any questions from board members at this point? Not seeing any. I'll go ahead and open it up to public comment. Do we have anyone in the room? Nobody in the room, no hands online. Bring it back to the board for any further comments or action.
For the resolution.
Resolution's been offered.
Supervisor Owen.
Aye.
Supervisor Sabatier.
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall.
Yes.
And Supervisor Rasmussen.
Aye. That carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
And CAO, I believe that was, except for reports, that was all of the.
That is correct, sir.
So we're going to move on to supervisor reports. Does somebody want to start?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Tomorrow, we'll be meeting with Middle Creek. We have a firm that helps us with that project, and I apologize, wrong comment. Middle Creek, and talking with our, hopefully with our congressional folks, as well as the Army Corps, and just trying to re-engage and get that back on track. Then not much else left for Wednesday. On Thursday, I'm going to be leaving early in the morning. There is a proclamation being made at Sacramento for counties and the County Association, CSAC. And so I will be joining my fellow supervisors from around the state on the Senate floor and going to the state capitol with that. And so we'll see how that works out. And then I'll be coming in later on for the swearing in of Jacqueline Snyder in the courthouse. And just end of the month, very light. It means I get to catch up on my clerical work and some of the work that people have waiting for us to accomplish. So looking forward to meeting with my colleague, Supervisor Crandall, so we can get more progress done and bring things back to the board.
All right.
Okay.
Supervisor on.
Well, this week I have a pretty short calendar as far as meetings go. I have many irons in the fire, however. So I'm going to be working on a number of projects that have been on my agenda and getting back with those, as well as some future projects.
Okay. Supervisor Crandall.
All right. Same meeting tomorrow, Middle Creek Restoration with Supervisor Sabatier. Then then I think I have a staff meeting with Behavioral Health. And then the Super MAC will be taking place over at the Lucerne Alpine Senior Center. All three of my municipal advisory committees have two representatives from each group. They're going to be meeting on a numerous amount of different issues. I think Thomas Aceves alluded to it today at the public input, so that's going to be taking place again Thursday, Friday. I'm going to look forward to those days. I know that Supervisor Sabatier will be out on Thursday, but at least I think the others, we have a couple things that we're working on. I think we'll be able to touch base on and get some things moving forward. And then CAO meeting on Monday, and then back here on Tuesday.
Thank you. And let's see, last week and then this week again, I'm involved in some CRV, some buyback recycling work with Supervisor Sabatier with the state of California regarding the recycling here in Lake County. I had a first 5 meeting last week, also North Coast EMS meeting last week. Attended the National Crime Victims Barbecue at Victim Witness. On Saturday, I went to the State of the Land Trust to hear about what they're doing over the course of the next year. Completed hitch surveys. I do plan to attend the Super MAC over in the North Shore to see what's going on there. Supervisor Sabatier and I and the CAO also are going to be having a meeting this week with the cities regarding America 250, see what we might be able to do. I intend to go to the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People event in Library, or I'm sorry, Hobotton Park on Friday, May 1st.
Adding that to my list.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Noon to 5, I believe.
Okay.
Then I plan to attend the First Friday Art Fling in Lakeport. I'll be at the America 250 at that ranch on Saturday the 2nd. They have an event. And then I'll be participating in the Simple Gesture over the weekend, and also another benefit event for United Christian Parish. And that completes my calendar. Supervisor Sabati wants to add something.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
So I've been doing the hitch report on Burns Valley Creek, and it has been a very disappointing creek to witness because there has been absolutely not just no hitch, but no fish whatsoever. I even asked Water Resources if I was getting punked. But I saw many tiny little fish. I'm hoping they're hitch. So I took some good pictures, finally saw some action on the creek, and it was exciting, and I just felt the need to share. I'll go to Water Resources today and see if they can help me figure out what pictures I took and what fish we're looking at.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. That's regardless of whether we're seeing hitch every week. I haven't seen a hitch
since week 1.
We're in 8 weeks. I saw a hitch week 1, but it's been a different kind of a year. So appreciate you bringing that up and helping out. I believe that concludes our reports, and we're going to go ahead and move into our closed session, and I'm going to read these items off. 8.1, we have public employee appointment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, interviews for Public Works Director, and then appointment of Public Works Director. We have item 8.2, which is conference with labor negotiator. That's a conference with labor negotiator A, Chief Negotiator Susan Parker, with county negotiators Jay Salone, Stephen Carter, Casey Moreno, Pam Samick, and Diana Rico, and employee organization Deputy County Council Association. 8.3, we have a conference with legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 and E1, with 6 potential cases. Then we have item 8.4, which is a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1 in RE National Prescription Opiate Litigation, MDL number 2804, case number 17-MD-2804. Then we'll have item 8.5, which is a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. That's FERC proceeding number P77, Potter Valley Hydroelectric Project. And that is all of our closed session items. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to comment on any of those titles? Or anybody online? None in either location, so we'll go ahead and close the open session of the meeting and move into closed session. Okay, we're coming back in from our closed session. It's exactly 2:00. Is there any report from closed session?
Yes. I moved to appoint Lars Ewing as Public Works Director effective April 28th, 2026 at Step 5 pay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 4-0. And that concludes our meeting.